Hello and welcome to the Interior Design Business. My name is Jeff Hayward and I'm joined by my co-host Susie Rumbold, past president of the British Institute of Interior Design and creative director of Tessuto Interiors, in front of a live audience of designers here at the Design Club in Chelsea Harbour. And we're eagerly anticipating Wow House 2026, which will run from the 2nd of June until the 2nd of July this year. So what better time to take a look at the phenomenon that is Wow House.
From a standing start in 2022, Wow House has, in 5 short years, grown to become the UK's premier showcase for luxury interior design talent and style. Going way beyond the mere setting of trends, Wow House has come to embody the aspirational direction of travel for the whole UK prime residential market. But how did it all begin? Where did the original inspiration for the event come from? And how has it developed year on year to become the most hotly anticipated event in the London interior design calendar? Welcome to the Interior Design Business.
So we are thrilled, delighted, ecstatic to welcome a fantastic panel for this Wow House special. Dugesh Singh from returning Wow House sponsor Nucleus AV, acclaimed interior designer and wowser Benedict Foley, and the woman who launched Wow House, CEO of the Design Centre, Claire German. Welcome all to the show.
Could you possibly just give us a brief introduction to yourself and to your business?
Well, this is always a very interesting question. I suppose I'm an interior decorator. I've had quite a varied career involving quite a few different sorts of things. I actually studied classical archaeology and ancient history and then worked for an umbrella makers where I did their design, and I have always made things throughout my whole career. So in some ways, although interior decoration is ostensibly what I do now, I sort of sometimes see myself almost like a sort of large-scale collage artist, and my practice involves all those aspects that you might find in an interior. And yes, for me, that's something that I find exciting. And yes, Wow House was a wonderful opportunity to do
How long
that.
have you been doing this?
How long have I been doing this? Well, that is a good question. I mean, I suppose making things since I was a very small child. In terms of interior decoration, probably about 15 years, I would have thought. But I was selling antiques before that, which is also something that has always been part of my practice, my business. So yes, it's been a sort of long-standing passion of mine.
Fantastic. Dugesh.
Hi, I'm Dugesh Singh from Nucleus, founding director. I originally studied computer science and management and was doing IT consultancy for a long time around London. Maybe 15 years ago, I realized that the world of audiovisual and technology in homes was colliding with the IT world and the computing world. And it was much more creative and less firefighting. You know, no one's thankful that their computer's running, only upset when it breaks. But you put smiles on people's homes when you deliver things in their homes. It's personal and it's creative. So when I started getting into it, I realized I enjoyed it much more. It was much more satisfying to do. So we formed Nucleus 10 years ago now, and we basically do residential, commercial, and military. We like to say bedrooms, boardrooms, and battlefields. So we cover all. We'll add marine to that, and then we can add boats as a fourth B soon. So yeah, and that's who we are. So second, we did Wow House for the first time last year, and we look forward to doing it this year as well. Bigger and better.
And finally, Claire.
Well, as you said earlier, I'm the CEO of Design Centre Chelsea Harbour, and which is the most incredible job because no day is ever the same. And before that, I was the publishing director at House and Garden. So I've actually been in my current role for 16 years, which actually sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But it's true.
And Claire, was it you who actually came up with the original idea for Wow House?
It absolutely was.
Wow.
Do you want to expand on that at all?
It's on record.
Was it a kind of eureka moment? I mean, and where did it happen?
Okay.
In the
Now,
bar?
I can paint the picture beautifully. So come with me on the journey. So basically, it was during lockdown, and it was in the summer, and we just built the Design Avenue, which is our sort of amazing in sort of and the arrival and our exhibition space and so we built that to always create reasons for people to get together. And there we were, actually in lockdown, where nobody was allowed to ever meet. And so I was sat at my desk, and it was just myself in the office with my PA, and who was obviously sitting in another room. And I thought, I was craving the moments when we could all, the industry can get back together and meet again. So I thought, I've always wanted to do a show house, because even in my previous career, I would visit Kips Bay and everything else. And I thought, God, I'd love to do a show house here, but we didn't ever really have the space to really sort of do something incredible. And then it dawned on me, sitting on my own, which I know now I must never spend any time on my own again. It suddenly dawned on me that actually we could build the most glamorous show house, longhouse, and purpose-built structure, and invite the most incredible designers, and then I can do my show house. So I didn't tell the team at the time, because they were really busy sort of pivoting with digital initiatives and trying to keep the community informed and engaged with, webinars and goodness knows what. So I thought this could push them over the edge. So I phoned the ex Condé Nast colleague, the ex art editor of Vogue, and the ex marketing director of Condé Nast, and said, can you just want to run, and not that, they weren't connected to the industry, I'm just going to run this idea past you. What do you think? And could you help me kind of, expand on the idea? And then within a week, then it was named, the logo had been done, and I was off.
Incredible. So you've hijacked my next question, because my next question was going to be, before the Design Centre East was built in the Design Avenue, there wouldn't have been anywhere possible to stage
sort of,
something like that.
No, because it you couldn't sort of. I thought of everything, whether maybe we could do something in the domes and we could just go up, and no, but this was this was just perfect.
And I think the title itself is such a clever use of words. Was that instant as well? Did you immediately think, I'm going to call this Wow House?
Well, I sort of said to my little group, I said, I just want people to walk in and go, wow. And then I suddenly thought, actually, been thinking of Bauhaus, sort of design, sort of terminology. Why don't we call it Wow House? And so there we go. And because that's the sort of person I am, I think that's a great idea. Let's go for it. I don't sort of, if I love it, I just do it.
Amazing. I'm sure there are lots of people with experience of
There was no deliberation. That sounds great. Let's do it.
There are very few corporates that work like that.
No, I know. It's unusual.
So London has quite a rich history, actually, of staging occasional designer showcases. So often they're in historic luxury houses. So I'm thinking about, there was Holiday House London back in 2017.
Yeah.
That was up in St John's Wood. And then even earlier than that, I can remember showcase events. So there was a Nash House in Regent's Park years ago. And there was one at one point in Grosvenor Square as well. Was Wow House inspired by these events? And what is it that sets Wow House apart from these events?
With everything, whether it's going to New York to see Kips Bay, or I obviously went to the Holiday House and everything, and it when for anybody in this industry, you always go and admire and understand the work and that goes into this to create these incredible things. So the sort of the concept of show house inspired me, but I knew that to make it different was to actually create something that's purpose built. So you're not in any way sort of restricted by any architecture of a real house, and in Kips Bay, for example, some designers get sort of wobbly bottom-lipped about the fact that they have got a cupboard in the attic room. And so I thought, actually, if we build and we control the layout and everything, it sort of the designers have this total sort of clean canvas that they then arrive with a white box and they can do whatever they want. So there's no kind of
Every space has equal weight and merit.
yes, no, and then sort of obviously some rooms are larger than others, but every room packs a punch, and it's a journey, a golden thread journey through the house that is really incredible.
Yeah. And Takesh, have you been to any of these other events? Are you aware of Kips Bay and some of the other?
I'm aware of Kips
Yeah.
Bay, but I hadn't been to any of the other
Kips
events.
Bay, for any of our
Yeah.
audience that don't know, it is an annual event that I believe takes place in New York.
Yes, and then they have satellite ones as well, but I feel that it's less curated.
Yes, yes. So Takesh, in terms of coming cold to Warehouse, then had you done other work in show homes, perhaps that?
Of similar kind.
Yeah.
We've done showrooms and things like that, but I think what we brought to our house was actually quite new and fresh and unique. I don't think that level of technology is what we do as a business was deployed in that way, in an authentic, real way. Having a show somewhere where you've got a trade show stand and you've got a load of equipment or whatever you may sell as a brand on a wall is very different to showing it in real fabric, in having that experience of walking to something that is a real room. There's no faking it. It is a real room. It could be in someone's house for permanent. It's done to that level. So when people experience it like that, they connect everything together. You walk around here and you see all the amazing brands here. But when you see it all together, the rug, the sofa, the technology, everything brought together, the lighting all brought together, it makes it more relatable.
You approach things almost as a theatrical set, don't you? Your approach is quite, well, obviously it's very curated, but
I really enjoy all sorts of different sorts of things, and I see my work as quite. I mean, a lot of it's inspired by theatre and by cinema. So it really every response is directly to the situation that I'm offered. So it could be, a sort of. I mean, I did a fantastic house for a client and friend of mine, which is quite a sort of modest row house in North London, but he's very theatrical, and the outcome of that was completely different, I think, from any other. Certainly the people in his street say that from any other house in the street looking through his windows. So no, I mean, I have been involved in various different sort of showcases over the years because I think it gives you the opportunity to maybe step outside of what you would normally do. And I think, the unique thing for me really about my Wow House room was I wanted to welcome a sort of a client, but I didn't know who the client was.
so
which
you
was
haven't,
really
you're not working
freeing.
to a brief.
Yeah.
It's completely what's in
Yeah,
your head and in
exactly,
your soul.
which
Yeah.
but that was a really exciting,
Yeah.
kind of moment for me. So
Okay, Claire, tell us about that first Wow House. Was it a smooth process from idea to origination, and how did you go about bringing
And
brands
actually,
on
when
board
did
with
you
it?
come up with the idea too? Because how long was it between having this eureka moment and the actual opening of it? Sorry.
Okay,
Dave.
so I think I'm just trying to remember, we all came back to the office in sort of divided teams and everything. The linens came in one, sort of certain days, and the velvets were allowed in another day. So it's a sort of, we had such fun. And so that, I think it was sort of late summer when that was, and then I kind of then briefed it, and it's then getting the team together. So I briefed the team to say, I've got this idea, and I think it's going to be incredible. And my team are fantastic, and a real sort of like, okay, right, let's do it. And then I approached Victoria and Sabine from Interiors Academy, because they had been involved in a show house in the Hamptons. So because nobody had ever done, I had never had any show house experience, not that ever stops me doing anything. So Victoria and Sabine had. So we all then sort of got together, and then we then approached, sort of got the idea sort of formalized, and did a critical time path of when we need to, do things. And so I then started going to brands like Colfax and De La Cogne and Sanderson to say, we've got this idea, are you interested in supporting it? And then, you know, so that's, the model was born in out of that, really. And then we, you know, and it was literally in January, we were briefing the press, and the press were literally like, God, so you're going to do this in June? Right. Okay. And they were like, oh, yes, absolutely. And this is the floor plan. And because, you know, and we couldn't go to the magazine's offices because of COVID. So we had to kind of meet off site. And yeah, so they were like, oh, right. God, you're mad. And they were like, no, it will be fine. And actually, what was incredibly humbling was that people were really willing to join the journey and get excited about it. And the names that, you know, did, you know, we had Emma Burns, Philip Hooper, Shalini Misra, Stephanie Barber Mendoza. We had Duncan, then we had Campbell Ray, and Turner Pocock. So all the and Rita Koenig were like, Claire, we'll do it, because there's a trust that they know that anything that Design Centre does is going to be incredible. So they were, so they're founder wowzers, and I love them dearly for you know, taking the leap of faith with me.
And that first year, what form did it take? How many rooms? What was
There were 19 rooms, and it was really incredible. It was something to be proud of. And then the press, when they saw it, they, you know, it was then internationally, because I know you said it's very important for the UK market. Actually, this project, the Wow House, has an international love that reaches far beyond these shores. You know, from the Middle East, the Far East, people come from Australia and New Zealand, and are literally there on the first day, sort of saying, I've just got off the plane. Good day, I've just got off the plane. And so it was, you know, it was then, so the press were like, this is a game changer for the industry. And it was very humbling.
It's certainly got people talking. So how did you measure success? I mean, did you have any idea what success would look like?
Well, I think you measure it with the fact that was I proud of what was being delivered, and absolutely it was resoundingly proud of the, you know, to pull off what we did in such a short space of time was, you know, no mean feat. So, and people's reactions, the designers who were absolutely thrilled and delighted to be part of it, and the visitors' reaction of sort of
Wow.
pure enjoyment and wow.
Yeah.
And
it was.
and it was, and so I was like, okay, we're onto something big here.
And would you say there was any one factor that really kind of pushed the buzz around it? Because it just seemed like it came out of nowhere, like everyone was suddenly talking about it.
Well, don't forget though, in terms of any event, you're only as good as the people who are involved in it. And, you know, it's having the roster of those international designers. And, you know, we had Raymond Boozer from New York coming over to do it. And, you know, we were literally on a Zoom call saying, and we've got this thing, can I just show you share the screen and show you the floor plan? He had no idea. But the fact is, everyone knew they were keeping great company. And they knew of our reputation to be able to deliver a great event. So it's that power of collaboration that makes it so successful.
And Benedict, what were your earliest memories of that first Wow House?
That I just was really excited about the idea that you had sort of instituted something like this in the UK, because I think the Design Centre is such a wonderful community and you can really find anything that you need here as a designer. But showrooms are very particular spaces with particular functions. And so I think that Wow House as a concept really allowed designers to present what okay, fine, some people do only commercial work, or some people do a mixture of commercial and residential, but actually there were a lot of people involved who only do residential. So I think the great thing is, as a residential designer, mostly myself, that this was an opportunity for me, and there were many other amazing designers involved, to show their work to a large audience. Because, you know, I mean, I was thinking about people like sort of Veer Grenny and Colfax, and, you know, I mean, particularly thinking about somebody like Veer, there aren't many opportunities to go and visit any of his
No.
interiors. He doesn't do commercial work. He doesn't have a showroom. So it was a great, great opportunity to actually go and see his work and to experience
It's a
room.
privilege. It's
Yeah,
a privilege.
but it's a wonderful privilege as a designer
Yeah.
as well to be able to share your work with a wider audience. So I think that was the thing that really excited me that first year. There was this concept that we would be able to kind of
see things that you normally only ever see in magazines. But also there was this really fabulous commercial element where people would go into the rooms and say, I remember this in Paolo Moschino's, literally saying, I'll take the lot. It was a real Pretty Woman moment. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Oh. And there were little red stickers everywhere. And I thought, wow, this not only is this sort of this truly inspirational platform, and where people can meet their heroes and see the work of their heroes and celebrate it, but it was also commercially sound, which is, the perfect combination.
Oh, were you aware of it in its early form?
We had heard about it. I know some other competitors of ours, Flux was one, had done some lighting control in one of the rooms. We didn't know the mechanism of how the whole thing worked until we got involved in it last year. And so we didn't really understand where it sat for us. And then, last year we got involved. We had, I still remember what happened. In fact, the way we've got involved in it is that the avenue space that Claire mentioned, where it occupies, we did the lighting control for that space when it was built. And we just worked with Victoria on a project, a residential project. And she called me out the blue and she said, oh, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but there's a room. I was like, okay, where? And I need you to build it, but then I need you to break it. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I need you to deliver a whole media room for a show. I was like, okay. And she said, where is it? I said, she goes, actually, it's in one of your projects. So it's in Chelsea Harbour. I said, okay. So for us, it's always been an amazing thing because it's a project within a project.
Yeah.
It's actually a physical project within a bigger project that we've done. And that's how we got involved with it. So yeah, and that's we realized how much potential there is in Warehouse because we were pulled into this one room and very quickly it escalated. Very quickly.
It's like common.
It has, and it's just surrounded by such lovely people. It's hard to say no. You just first we got asked to help with the study, so Stefan reached out and said, "Oh, we'd love some Bang & Olufsen equipment." So, "Oh, we can help with that. We're a Bang & Olufsen dealer. Great, let's do that." It's a completely different aesthetic to what we're doing. Then we had 1508. I happened to be in Lutron's office, and then 1508 said, "Oh, we would love some Lutron." I pull up the floor plan. Where's that then? Oh, okay, it's about 3 rooms away. Okay, we can throw some cables across. And then all of a sudden I get Randall Sidney from the Garden Terrace. Oh, I would love some technology too. Where's that? That's on the other side of Warehouse. So we had a 150-meter cable run just dropped across the whole of Warehouse. And all of that was being controlled by all the equipment in the media room. That's real. That's what happens in a real house. You have a plant room where everything is wired back to. There's no faking that. The entire house operates in the confines of that middle section of the avenue. There's no fake. There's no bits running somewhere else. Everything you see is in that space, and it's real.
Fantastic.
And then Claire, so obviously you've launched this thing and it's kind of gone off with a bang. How does it then evolve in its second and third years?
Did you have a 3-year plan?
Did you have a 3-year plan? Good question.
God, no, I wouldn't just stick to a 3-year plan. No, I'd be sort of like, thinking, okay, in 20 years' time, yeah. No, I think, no, I just, and like everything, whether it's London Design Week or Focus, everything has to then be different and evolve every year. And that's just the sort of spirit that we have. So for the second year, it was, okay, well, it's easier because it's always difficult, really, to create a footprint. So the second year is easy because everyone understands it. They know what to expect. So after the first year, people were already signing up to be involved, and so that's how it starts. And then you think, okay, well, let's add some more spaces. Let's add some innovations and make it feel different, because what you don't want is for people to arrive and feel that there's a sense of deja vu. It's always got to feel fresh and different, and so that's always the aim. And every year we're delivered with the plum.
So do you set a kind of brief that they've got to be innovative or they've got to do something?
No,
different?
they actually, I'm not remotely bossy about that, in the sense that I think because it's like, and Benedict would be able to say, because actually it is probably like going naked, isn't it? In a design sense.
It's a challenge.
Yes,
It just gives you an empty box.
because
there's
everyone is
nothing,
going to,
you know.
have an opinion on
Yeah.
it. So there's always this desire to do amazing things. And right from the go, the ceiling was the fifth wall, and how people wanted to interpret that to create a sense of difference. And yeah, so the creativity and the passion and the desire to support it so brilliantly it's sort of, it all comes quite organically.
I love it that the Wowhouse alumni are known as Wowsers. And it's something that they are all justly proud of. Who first coined that nickname?
Was it you, Benedict?
No.
They sadly, they're sort of like, sadly it was me, because I have this weird thing of, for example, we've just launched the Emporium on 5th, just in case anyone hadn't heard, and so the brands that are associated with that I call the Emporiumites. So it's just a sort of thing I'd say is like, oh great, the second year, let's all do, you're all Wowsers, and it just sticks. And so it's Wowsers forevermore. And being part of the Wowser family is something that is on the top of everyone's list, I think.
Is it on your website letterhead that you're a Wowser?
I don't know that it is, but my website's quite small, so it's. But I have to say, I mean, I was thinking about it. That first year, I made some brackets for Charlotte and Duncan's room.
Yes.
And then in the second year, I made something for Vanessa McDonald's room.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then third year, I did my own room. And then last year, I ended up very foolishly offering to help my partner, Daniel Slowick, with his room. And when I said I was going to help him, I thought it was more like help and moral support. Going to be like having a few drinks, like kind of behind stage. And I was like, that'd be really nice. Exactly. I was like, I can do that. It'd be nice. Actually, it meant delivery. So that was fun. But it was, it was kind of, so I've never quite, I think after my first year, I said that I got it slightly wrong. This is a theme. I got it slightly wrong, and I said I was a wazzer because I have been a wowser, but then I was a wazzer because I was. Anyway, I have ended up being a wowser, seemingly, because in one way or another, I'm here every year.
You are.
So I'm sorry.
You are. You are the Wowser. Honestly, you're fabulous. And then actually just hearing Douglas and Benedict talking about how they've helped and happy to help. In every way, literally with that collaborative can-do spirit. That's something that I'm really proud of, and I really thank you deeply for that.
How do you go about selecting and approaching the designers?
It's all a conversation, and in my mind I always have a sort of a wish list, and then we then talk to the sponsors about what they're thinking. And we always think about making sure that there's a balance of styles through the house. So as I mentioned before, the sort of the golden thread through the house, which is sometimes a bit of a mouthful to say, but I've managed it tonight, so that's great. And so it's making sure that we're sort of fully representative in every area, really. And we have diversity, and we have something sort of contemporary, something traditional. So there's something for everyone, and getting that balance is very critical. And it's like creating an editorial well in a magazine. It has to have a balance that resonates with everyone.
Interesting. Is there like a committee? I've got sort of visions of you sitting behind a table like Alan Sugar or something.
No, we have a steering committee who are incredibly dedicated and very helpful.
Right. Okay, excellent. And what about the designers choosing the suppliers they want to work with, or is it the other way around? Did the suppliers choose the designers that they want to work with?
Again, it could be a bit of both, really. And what's wonderful is that the selection of suppliers that, there's a vast array of suppliers that get a sort of a platform within Wow House, and we support them because obviously they're making bespoke things for the designers and working incredibly hard. So it's we make sure that we give them as much publicity and love as possible as well.
Durgesh, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about what you actually did in your media room. You've talked about the camera ones and stuff, but what did you actually do in there?
What didn't we do? Yeah. Well, to go to Claire's point, they're also really good matchmakers because we were paired with Alex Dorley for our room last year. So that was a pairing that the design center put together. She was already involved in the room before we got involved with the room. So what was amazing is that Alex had a vision for the room, which was beautiful. She had no knowledge of the technology that would go in the room. And we had an amazing collaborative journey working together to stitch her design together with the technology to bring it to life. And we had a full audiovisual cinema media room system with surround sound, layered lighting that John Cullen designed, all controlled by Lutron. We had a piece of art that lifted up to reveal a bar. Claire was always trying to find the drinks in there.
I knew where
Work
the
out
player
which
was.
And the curtains kept going back and forth. No, wrong button.
Automated curtains, correct? Automated curtains we had. And all of this was stitched into the design. It was hidden and discreet. And it was a real message on collaboration and how you work together to deliver beautiful things. And you don't need to see technology. You just need to feel it and the emotion of it. And that's what I think the evolution of Warehouse has gone from spaces to experiences. And it continues to level up on experiences and what you feel as you walk through it, and down to the scent and down to, everything that you select in the room.
And I remember speaking to you last year, and it was fairly stressful those last few days.
Yeah.
But what's the value for you of being involved in Warehouse, and how do you measure that as a sponsor?
I think it's the people you meet and the people you work with. And for us, I think probably the greatest thing was our relationship with Alex last year that's come out of. I've gained a friend for life and a collaborator for life. Like I was speaking to her yesterday. Like it's amazing the bonds you form. We said it's an incubator for greatness, like, being involved in Warehouse, and those kind of relationships and those relationships with other sponsors or contributors or other interior designers. We were helping interior designers in the middle of the night with tools and bits. Everyone's helping each other, running around. That's very unique.
So I was also fascinated. So last year, for the very first time, you actually had a facade. So you had Adam Architecture come in and do the facade. What difference did that make to the success of the installation and more broadly the success of the show?
Well, I just think it created the most incredible sense of arrival, and with the sort of courtyard garden with wonderful Alex Hall, and it was just utterly beautiful, and people immediately arrived and just went, wow.
Well, I think they didn't know where they were.
No.
It was great. No, but it was really exciting. It kind of so
It's
displaced people from what their expectation was.
It was just incredible.
It was magical.
So this year we have the same facade with a twist, because obviously from a sustainability side, we always like to sort of repeat the facade. But Darren, of course, is creating something absolutely incredible.
What new features and innovations can we expect to see this year?
Well, I think we've got some incredible sort of developments on the technology side, and it's really exciting.
It's really exciting.
And the whole, as Durgesh said earlier, the immersive experience is going, one step further. We have a new room that we've added, which is a wonderful sort of garden room stroke folly, and which will be very, very beautiful. And there's just every year there's little twists and turns with the room selection and layout. So I think you're all going to be literally thrilled to bits.
What about you, Benedict? Are you involved at all this year?
Well, no.
Not yet.
Yes. funny feeling. You know, it's a bit like it was sort of White
Lock the
Lotus, where
doors.
it was like, yeah, I've just got a really, really, really strong hunch. So you can run away really quickly. No. I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to going to actually just go and visit it rather than having to make it. Because yeah, it's the most incredible thing to have done, and I really have been so, honoured and thrilled and excited to have been involved over several years. But it's a real challenge, and I'm looking forward to being a visitor this year.
Yeah, well, no, well, we're sort of, you're not going to get off that lightly.
Okay.
But also I want to say that don't forget it's a philanthropic event where we raise tens of thousands of pounds for charity, and for the third year this year it's United in Design, and we basically it's the we support any initiative that makes a difference. So and we're introducing, because of the monies we raise, far more internships and encouraging young people from diverse backgrounds to come into the design world. So and we've had Centrepoint and the TP Caring Spaces as well. So it's a very important part of it. So every ticket sold, a proportion of it will go to charity, as well as the gala Monday evening as well. So we mustn't forget that. So it's all that hard work and the collaborative effort actually is for the greater good.
Fantastic. Let's have a round of applause.
Just down to me to say thank you so much, Benedict, Claire, and Durgesh.
Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
been
you.
the most amazing discussion. I've just loved every minute.
My appetite is certainly whetted. Can't wait for Warehouse 2026. So we will be there. And thank you to our live audience and our host here at the Design Club and the Design Centre Chelsea Harbour for having us. Thank you so much. The interior design business is a Wildwood Plus production. Thank you very much.